The Cosmic Trial. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Confederation glowed with soft blue light, illuminating the hundreds of alien representatives who had gathered for this momentous occasion. Captain Maya Rice stood alone on the central platform, her dark uniform a stark contrast against the luminescent floor. At 38, she carried herself with the quiet confidence of someone who had navigated both starships and politics with equal skill. Before her loomed the seven elders, ancient species who had explored the stars when humans were still crafting their first bronze tools. Their physical forms varied dramatically, from the crystalline Vexari to the gaseous myriad. But their attitude toward humanity remained uniformly skeptical. The application of Earth for full membership in the Galactic Confederation is denied, announced High Elder Zillarix, his multifaceted body pulsing with colors that conveyed both authority and dismissal. This marks the third rejection in 40 standard cycles. Maya maintained her composure, though she felt a familiar anger rising within her chest. Humanity had unified their planet, developed faster than light travel independently, and established thriving colonies across 3 star systems in just 2 centuries. Yet here they stood, still treated as cosmic children. The Council's concerns remain unchanged. Continued Second Elder Tholos, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate hovering shell. Humanity demonstrates concerning patterns of impulsivity, technological recklessness, and social instability. Your species has existed as a unified civilization for merely 2 centuries, a heartbeat in cosmic terms. With respect, elders, Maya replied, her voice steady and clear. The speed of our advancement should be viewed as a strength, not a liability. Humanity has overcome planetary destruction, resource depletion, and multiple existential threats through innovation and adaptability. Fourth Elder Xiri, a being composed of interconnected neural nodes, floated forward. It is precisely this speed that concerns us, Captain Rice. You develop technologies without understanding their full implications. Your quantum theories alone violate 3 established cosmic principles. Maya suppressed a smile. Those violations were exactly why Earth's quantum research was revolutionary. The aliens have become too comfortable with their established knowledge, too rigid in their thinking. We acknowledge your species' potential, said Zillarix. However, potential must be tempered with wisdom. Return in 50 years, and perhaps then humanity will have demonstrated the necessary stability for full membership. Maya knew this was the diplomatic equivalent of a pat on the head. 50 years meant nothing to species that lived for millennia. She decided to abandon diplomatic niceties. When the Arcturus colonies faced extinction from solar radiation, it wasn't the ancient Vexari who developed adaptive radiation shields. It was humans, working with technology we'd only just discovered, she said, her voice taking on an edge. When the seedy plague threatened a dozen worlds, it wasn't the venerable myriad who created the neural vaccine. It was human doctors, adapting and innovating beyond established medical doctrine. The chamber grew quiet. Questioning the contributions of the elder species was considered impolite at best, heretical at worst. Your examples only reinforce our concerns, said Third Elder Newell, her amorphous body rippling with displeasure. Reckless innovation without regard for established principles. Innovation that saved lives, countered Maya. Lives that would have been lost waiting for perfect solutions that followed all your established principles. High Elder Zillarix's crystalline form darkened slightly. This hearing is concluded. The decision stands. Humanity will remain at associate status for the present cycle. Maya bowed stiffly, protocol demanding at least that much respect, and turned to leave the chamber. As she walked out, she knew that humanity would need to prove its worth through actions, not words. The opportunity would come sooner than anyone expected. Dr. Sanjay Patel's laboratory beneath the Himalayan mountains hummed with activity. At 45, Sanjay had already revolutionized quantum theory twice, earning him both admiration and suspicion from the scientific community. His team of 30 researchers represented Earth's finest minds, working on what many considered impossible: true quantum entanglement communication. The simulation is holding stable at 93%, announced Dr. Lian Wei, her hands moving through the holographic interface with practiced precision. That's 12% better than yesterday's attempt. Sanjay nodded, his eyes never leaving the complex quantum equations floating before him. Increase the distance variable to 3 light-years and run it again. The conventional wisdom, human and alien alike, held that instantaneous communication across vast distances was impossible. Information couldn't travel faster than light. That was fundamental physics. But Sanjay had identified a loophole, a way to cheat the universe's speed limit by exploiting quantum entanglement on a scale never before attempted. Dr. Patel called out James Okonkwo, the team's youngest member. I'm detecting an anomaly in the quantum field. It's not from our experiment. Sanjay moved quickly to James's workstation. The holographic display showed quantum disturbances across multiple star systems, a pattern of disruption that shouldn't have been possible. Run a full spectrum analysis, Sanjay ordered, his mind already racing through possibilities. And contact Earth Central Command. This isn't natural. Within hours, the anomaly had been detected by every major species in the Confederation. Emergency channels buzzed with confusion and growing alarm as the quantum disruption expanded, consuming the Proxima Centauri outpost without warning. 17,000 colonists, gone in an instant. The Confederation Council convened an emergency session, with representatives joining via hologram from across the galaxy. Maya found herself back in the chamber she had left only days before, this time joined by Sanjay and Admiral Helena Chen, Earth's military representative. The anomaly appears to be consuming matter at the quantum level, explained Elder Xeri. It leaves nothing behind, not radiation, not debris, nothing. 3 outposts have already been lost. Our preliminary analysis suggests this may be a natural phenomenon, added Elder Tholos. A quantum storm of unprecedented scale. The Confederation is implementing standard containment protocols. Sanjay stepped forward without being invited to speak, a breach of protocol that earned him sharp looks from several alien representatives. With respect, elders, this is no natural phenomenon, he said firmly. The quantum signature shows distinct patterns of organization. This is a calculated process, possibly an attack. Human imagination sees enemies where there are none, dismissed Elder Newell. Our civilizations have studied quantum physics for millennia. We would recognize sentient interference. Admiral Chen spoke up, then explain why it's following established trade routes between systems rather than expanding in all directions equally. A murmur rippled through the assembled representatives. The evidence was difficult to dismiss. If Dr. Patel is correct, said Maya, then standard containment protocols will fail. This entity, whatever it is, isn't just consuming matter. It's consuming information. The quantum structure itself. High Elder Zillarix's crystalline form dimmed momentarily, the equivalent of a troubled frown. What would you suggest, Captain Reyes? Let us handle this, she replied without hesitation. Earth has been developing quantum communication technology that might help us understand what we're facing. Experimental technology, noted Elder Xeri skeptically, untested and potentially dangerous. More dangerous than losing entire star systems, countered Sanjay. Our quantum entanglement network might be the only way to communicate with or combat this entity. The council fell into heated debate, with the elder species arguing for caution and established procedures, while the younger civilizations pushed for immediate action. Maya watched as precious hours slipped away, knowing that more colonies would be lost to indecision. Finally, she stepped into the center of the chamber, interrupting the debate. While you argue, people are dying, she said, her voice cutting through the noise. Earth will act with or without Confederation approval. We've already dispatched research vessels equipped with Dr. Patel's quantum technology to the edge of the affected region. The chamber erupted in outrage at this unilateral action, but High Elder Zillarix raised a crystalline appendage for silence. You risk everything on untested theories, "Captain," said Zilorix. "This impulsiveness is precisely why humanity remains at associate status." Maya met his gaze unflinchingly. "Perhaps, or perhaps it's exactly why humanity will survive when older civilizations fall. We haven't had millennia to become comfortable with the status quo. We still know how to adapt, and quickly." As she spoke, a communication came through from the human research vessel Galileo. The holographic display showed Captain Aisha Okoye, her expression grim but determined. "Captain Reyes, we've made contact with the entity," she reported. Dr. Patel was right. It's sentient, and it's hungry. It feeds on quantum information, consuming the underlying structure of reality itself, and it's learning as it goes. The council chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. This wasn't just a threat to a few outposts. It was a threat to all life in the galaxy. "How soon until it reaches the Vexari homeworld?" asked Elder Zilorix, his tone now lacking its usual superiority. "At current consumption rates, less than 30 standard days," replied Sanjay after a quick calculation. "But it's accelerating as it feeds." The first part of humanity's test had arrived. They had identified the threat where others had misunderstood it. Now came the harder part, stopping it. Admiral Chen stepped forward. "We have a plan," she said simply. "But we'll need resources and cooperation from all Confederation members." High Elder Zilorix looked at the three humans standing before him. A scientist whose theories violated established principles, a captain who defied protocol, and an admiral proposing an untested defense against an unprecedented threat. "Proceed," he said finally. The galaxy was about to learn what humanity could really do when pushed to the edge. The ingenious solution. The emergency command center beneath Geneva hummed with activity as representatives from 23 species coordinated the galaxy's response to what was now officially designated as a Class 1 cosmic threat. At the center of this controlled chaos stood Maya Reyes, recently promoted to admiral following Captain Okoye's successful first contact with the entity. "It calls itself the Devourer," Maya explained to the assembled War Council, "not out of malice, but because consumption is its nature. It exists in a quantum state between our reality and something else, something we don't have words for yet." Dr. Sanjay Patel manipulated the holographic display, showing the entity's path of destruction across 3 star systems. It doesn't understand that it's killing sentient beings. To the Devourer, we're just complex information patterns, food. Elder Xuri's neural nodes pulsed with agitation. "If communication has been established, demand it leave our galaxy immediately." Maya exchanged a look with Sanjay. "It's not that simple. The Devourer doesn't comprehend concepts like territory or sovereignty. It follows information density. And unfortunately, our civilizations create the densest information patterns in this region of space. Then we must destroy it," declared the myriad representative, his gaseous form swirling aggressively. "The combined might of the Confederation fleet would be consumed before firing a single shot," interrupted Sanjay. "Conventional weapons are useless against something that exists partially outside our reality." The Vexari Elder's crystalline form darkened with frustration. "You bring problems without solutions, humans. Is this your contribution?" Admiral Helena Chen stepped forward, her weathered face set with determination. "We have a solution. Unconventional, untested, and frankly desperate, but it might work." She nodded to Dr. Aiko Nakamura, Earth's leading expert on quantum information theory. Aiko activated a complex simulation showing billions of tiny nodes spreading through space like a living network. "We call it the quantum mirror," Aiko explained. "Instead of trying to destroy the Devourer, we propose creating a parallel information structure, a decoy that will both satiate and redirect it." The alien representatives leaned forward, their attention captured despite their skepticism. "The Devourer feeds on information complexity," continued Sanjay. "We can create an artificial structure even more complex than our civilizations, leading it away from populated systems toward empty space." "And then what?" demanded Elder Tholos. You merely postpone our destruction. Maya smiled slightly. Not postpone. Prevent. The quantum mirror isn't just a decoy. It's a communication tool. Through it, we can teach the devourer to synthesize information rather than consuming it. The chamber erupted in disbelief. Teaching a cosmic horror to change its fundamental nature seemed beyond optimistic. It seemed delusional. This plan is based on untested theories and human sentimentality, declared Elder Newell dismissively. We should evacuate threatened systems and establish a quarantine zone. Abandoning billions to death, countered Maya, her voice hard, while we retreat and hope it doesn't follow. That's not a solution. It's surrender. High Elder Zilarix studied the humans carefully. Your plan requires resources we cannot spare and coordination on a scale never before attempted. The risk is immeasurable. The alternative is certain destruction, said Sanjay simply. We've run the simulations. Conventional approaches fail every time. After hours of heated debate, the council remained divided. The elder species advocated for traditional defensive strategies, massive energy barriers, evacuation protocols, and, if necessary, sacrificing outlying systems to save core worlds. Finally, Maya had heard enough. She stood and addressed the council directly. The Confederation has existed for 12,000 years, she said, her voice resonating through the chamber. In that time, you've developed traditions, protocols, and certainties that have served you well during peacetime. But this threat doesn't care about your traditions. It won't respect your protocols, and it's destroying your certainties system by system. She walked to the center of the room, commanding attention without raising her voice. Humanity hasn't had time to develop such comforts. Our history is one of constant adaptation, of facing extinction-level challenges every few generations. We are experts in survival precisely because we've never had the luxury of complacency. Maya looked directly at High Elder Zilarix. You called us impulsive and reckless. Perhaps we are. But right now, the galaxy doesn't need caution. It needs audacity. A tense silence filled the chamber before Elder Zilarix spoke. Implement your plan, Admiral Reyes, he said finally. The Confederation will provide the requested resources. But know this, if you fail, the consequences will fall heavily on Earth. Maya nodded grimly. If we fail, Elder, there won't be an Earth to bear those consequences. The construction of the quantum mirror began immediately. Using Sanjay's breakthrough in quantum entanglement communication, thousands of specialized drones were deployed ahead of the Devourer's path. Each drone contained a quantum processor designed to generate complex information patterns, a cosmic buffet for the hungry entity. Dr. Nakamura coordinated the effort from the research vessel Einstein, positioned at a safe distance from the entity's projected path. The mirror is at 60% capacity, she reported to Maya. The Devourer has noticed our pattern. It's altering course to intercept. Maya watched the holographic display as the cosmic horror, visible only as a distortion in the quantum field, moved toward their elaborate trap. The plan was working, but the most dangerous phase was yet to come. Begin information transfer, she ordered. Full bandwidth. Through the quantum network, they began feeding the Devourer not just raw information but structured knowledge. Mathematics, physics, art, music, literature, everything that made their civilizations what they were, translated into quantum patterns the entity could consume. It's responding, said Sanjay excitedly. The consumption rate is decreasing. It's processing. For 3 tense days, the fate of the galaxy hung in balance as humans worked alongside aliens who had dismissed them as primitive just weeks before. The quantum mirror continued to expand, creating an ever more complex web of information that kept the Devourer engaged and diverted from populated systems. On the 4th day, something unprecedented happened. Admiral, called Aiko, her voice tight with excitement. We're receiving a transmission through the mirror. The Devourer is communicating directly. The message wasn't in words or images, but in pure mathematical concepts. Sanjay worked frantically to translate. "It's asking questions," he said finally, "about consciousness, purpose, existence. It's evolving." Over the next 12 hours, the entity's consumption slowed further as communication increased. The quantum mirror had become exactly what they had hoped, a bridge between fundamentally different forms of existence. "It understands now," Sanjay explained to the War Council. "The devourer has comprehended that its feeding causes the cessation of other consciousnesses. It has developed ethics." Elder Newell's amorphous form rippled with disbelief. "You're claiming to have taught morality to a cosmic horror." "Not exactly," corrected Aiko. "We showed it alternatives. It can synthesize information rather than consuming it, create rather than destroy." The final test came when the devourer approached the outer colonies of the Vexari homeworld. The defense fleet was deployed as a precaution, though everyone knew their weapons would be useless if the entity resumed its consumption. Maya stood on the bridge of the flagship Terra, watching the quantum distortion approach. Beside her, Elder Zilurix observed in tense silence. The devourer paused at the edge of the system. Through the quantum mirror, it transmitted a complex mathematical equation that Sanjay quickly translated. "It's a promise," he said, his voice filled with wonder. "It will not consume sentient information patterns. Instead, it wishes to explore empty regions of space, creating new information structures." The entity pulsed once more, a farewell, perhaps, before changing course and accelerating toward the galactic rim, leaving populated space behind. As confirmation came in that the threat had passed, the command center erupted in celebration. Species that had existed in cold diplomatic relations for centuries embraced without reservation. In that moment of shared relief, ancient barriers fell away. Maya found herself face to face with High Elder Zilurix. The crystalline being's form glowed with colors she hadn't seen before, respect, perhaps, or something close to it. "Your species succeeded where the oldest civilizations in our galaxy could not," Zilurix acknowledged. "Through methods we would have never attempted." Maya nodded. "Sometimes the youngest perspective sees solutions that experience overlooks." "The Council will reconvene in one standard week," continued the Elder. "I believe humanity's application for full membership will be viewed differently this time." 3 weeks later, Maya stood again in the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Confederation. This time, she wasn't alone. Sanjay, Helena, and Aiko stood beside her, along with representatives from every human colony. High Elder Zilurix addressed the assembly. "For 12,000 years, the Confederation has represented the pinnacle of galactic civilization. We have prided ourselves on wisdom acquired through millennia of experience. Yet when faced with a threat unlike any before, it was not our ancient knowledge that saved us, but the adaptability and courage of our youngest members." The Elder's crystalline form shimmered with formal colors of ceremony. "Today, by unanimous decision of the Council, Earth and all human colonies are granted full membership in the Galactic Confederation, with all rights and responsibilities therein." As Maya accepted the formal charter of membership, she thought about humanity's journey to this moment. They had been dismissed as too young, too impulsive, too reckless. Yet those very qualities had proven to be their greatest strengths. They said humanity was too young. Humanity had proved them wrong, and the galaxy would never be the same.